Exactly. Well, we'll find out, guys. Game number 2 is coming at you. Locked and loaded, ready for the second game of the day, the final Miramar of the day. And these planes, not very nice. They're very, very far to the east. They've been really favoring this east side of the map, so it's making a little bit of challenge for the teams that want to go over to the western side.
Yeah, not bad for infantry though, and not bad either for OJ and Entus, and also Tiamba. This time actually not going all the way towards the west, staying towards for the Paraiso. This time I think that's a smarter choice, knowing that no one else is actually on that spot at all.
Yeah, I think this is going to be interesting for infantry because they've been given not terrible circles, but you know, a lot of the circles have been eastern heavy, and when you're coming out of Impala, those are the circles you have to take advantage of because you are on a eastern coast, so you no matter what, you're often going to be playing from an edge-ish position, but they haven't really been able to do it so far, whereas some of these other teams like Tianba and Entus have.
If you get that somewhat eastern circle or from the central side, you can push into Bendita and make that slow away. But escaping out from Bendita can actually become a trap on your own. So I think that's one hard decision if they want to go for those pushes. I think that's one potentially option. Ooh, but quite a northern circle, so not bad for Entus, and also great for New Happy as they're already going towards that path.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. There's a couple of those compounds right around New Happy, especially the one that's to the west of them that I see a lot of teams hang out in that has pretty good vision and pretty easy to control. Let's see if that's what they opt to go for right away. Meanwhile, K7 is split out way up there by Torre Ahumada. Sierra Bronco once again, Sun Sisters, Peros, and El Azahar. Nothing too crazy, nothing too different from what we saw in the last game in terms of drop spots and kind of loot locations. Other than I'd say we don't have a member of 4AM that actually kind of accidentally gets a little too far out from his team.
Oh, yes. And since we have Tiamba on screen, we did see the second game of Miramar like this yesterday. Tiamba did start from all the way in the southwest from Bahia del Mar, and then we had a northern circle, sort of like this. It was similar in pattern of the circle and where they landed towards all the way south. So, and Tiamba started to fall apart from that moment on into Erangel, into game 3 and 4. This will be another very hard rotation for Tiamba if they can make it happen this time. Maybe it's their chance.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely going to be kind of, at least with this circle, they can take the lessons that they learned from yesterday and try to apply them to this match. No matter what, it is more difficult. Regardless, if you're coming from outside of the circle in, it's oftentimes more difficult in the current Asian meta. Just the way that the teams like to play. Everybody's trying to get center early, and they really do a nice job. Now, let's take a quick look at this replay here. Some of these shots coming out from Tianba. Now, this is starting out on the eastern edge, and they eventually make their way to the northern side, but up first, they've got a freak on K7.
Yeah, this was actually the play that we were amazed with the rotation. We'll put the late rotation, wait until that blue line, and then make a short rotation. I thought they were going to move in down a little bit further. They had some other covers if they moved down, but still staying on top, being that patient player, and kept and led them to a victory in game 1.
And it just shows you how important it is, particularly on Miramar. On all the maps, of course, it's important, but on Miramar to keep those vehicles up till the end. If they don't have those vehicles, that rotation they made is like 3 times as hard. They can still do it, but it's much more difficult.
Yeah, they would have lost a lot more members and not kept the 3-man squad until the very last moment. Of course, with some knocks against DGW, but still, the chicken dinner was taken by Tiamba as the circle popping off. I think another favorable. Let's take a look at Entus, as they've been making this miraculous rotation into center circle in circle 3, phase 4, phase 5.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely now always got my eyes on Entus around phase 3 or 4 or 5. I mean, I want to see what they're doing and how they're doing it. Vehicle accident, there is the scene of the crime, as we so often see in PUBG Esports.
Yeah, that's a warning sign.
There's a 4X there. Here you go.
Yeah. I thought he was going to be on the bike, but just leaves it right next to him.
northern suburbs of Los Leones belong to Detonation Gaming White for this tournament. Machao had a really good round there, not too surprising. Again, for those of you who aren't super familiar with the PJS, this guy is considered to be the most mechanically skilled player along with Crazy Sam in Japan. Machao, and I was just told this by the Japanese fans that they call him Japanese Pio, and that's a very high compliment. They think very highly of Machao.
Yep, there's always PO. He's actually not performing as well into day 2, but we'll see only one game into day 2. There's that code. Put him in as we're about to see some action from Pero again, diving into K7.
Wow, Pero loves to fight in these U-houses, although last time, it was 2 of infantry. Now it's K7 trying to hold the line. The stuns are going to back it off. That's a not going to finish onto XVD. So the hero from the last round down already. Got another one. Mill is down as well, but he trades into Lockslot. Mamu's going to finish the job. Long DD comes around the corner, finds the backside of Savior. And that's an easy finish, but Buyo, who steps up, finishes off Mill. So 2 down here for Pero, and K7 has lost this compound. They do have Buyohu over on the side and the reinforcement from Zennon, although I don't know what there is left to reinforce here, Zennon. It's not looking good.
Yes, it's 4 a.m. They smell the blood. They want a piece of this blood right here at Pero. I think they are about to take a win in this duel, but depending on how aggressive Forever actually, they might bump in as Crazy. I think he does have a vehicle all the way out.
So this is pretty interesting from Pero. We've seen this 2 rounds in a row where they're just bombing at a compound that they know they have a numbers advantage on, and it goes meh. It's it's okay. You got the compound, but at what cost?
Yes, I believe knowing after watching years of PUBG Sports, if you take the entire squad with a single member loss, that's okay. You can still go into the late game, but if you lose 2 or more, I don't think it's worth it at Circle 1, even into Phase 2. So what Pero is doing, personally, I don't like it as much, but still they have their style and they think it can work. But the reinforcement from K7 was actually pretty fast in this case. So that's one thing to take. Pero with just 2 members alive, I don't think that's enough firepower.
Yeah, except for Zennon. Zennon was late to that party, but other than that, you're right. I mean, K7 did get 3 there, and they got Buyohu there, but at the end of the day, Pero just is a little bit too strong and too fast. So you're seeing those early rotations from Pero be kind of so-so. Over towards the other teams making their rotations, it's Tianba coming in from the south. There is Detonation Gaming White set up to the southwest of La Bendita, but doesn't look like they are particularly going to cross paths for now. Genji setting up with the same kind of split down by the same crater that things ended at. Finally, they're trying to finish Buyohu off. He gets 1! Stunned, he sprays, but he isn't able to get the finish, and it is going to be Mamu finishing off.
Yes, and exactly when Pero, when they have XTD, it's okay, but when they do not have XTD, they're like the other body parts without the actual body. So they can't really move around too well. That's what I remember from PCL games. So it might not be true in PCS, but let's see what the last few members left from Pero.
Yeah, it is going to be challenging. You do have that top fragger for Pero missing now, and he was the last one to survive last go around. But yeah, well, I still am a little bit curious about it. Will it be effective enough? Will it be the right move later on? I mean, those U-houses are, in terms of compounds to hold with low numbers, they are one of the easier ones.
They're very important, and actually from the side, from the second floor, you can go on top and you can get a lot of those information too. But which is very weird because Pero from PCL, they were actually one of the defensive passive teams compared to all these other aggressive Chinese teams. Maybe they weren't aggressive enough compared to the other Chinese teams that they look aggressive here. because we have a lot of different region now.
I mean, you will see this. The Chinese teams are not afraid to send it if they feel like they have a numbers advantage on a compound that's worth it.
Yeah,
we see it all the time.
It doesn't matter which phase. They say, let's go. We can get this team down. They just run.
Yeah, this gross circle is running away from these teams.
Gross circle.
Wow. Northwest, New Happy, going to be one of the few teams that's even remotely close to the center of this. Sun Sister making their way towards the water treatment. OPGG on a late rotation from La Cobreria coming up from the northwest. Gek's already kind of in this up on the, I'm going to start calling this the infantry hill. This is the one where they put up that 24 kill round, right, where GEX is in PCS2.
Yeah,
where
the most kills still
just crazy.
Yeah, from PCS 1, 2, 3 combined, I think, in a single round.
Yeah, any PCS this year, it's the most kills. any major PUBG major that I can remember. I mean, the only time somebody pointed out there was like a Vietnam tournament a couple years ago where a team had more kills. That was like technically like a PUBG official event, not one of like the third-party events or something. But these guys, infantry, we know they're capable of popping off. If you're an infantry fan, hold tight. I think there might be some hope left for them. Speaking of, they're actually above Entis in this rotation with the Freak of Freaks a little bit to the south, but Entis is pretty split. They tried their, their standard 2-2, and now they're having teams cut in the middle of them. So now we've got Entis in kind of a difficult, unusual situation. Speaking of multi-circle gaming, trying to cut BLG off. Spear. Whoa, he's got to get behind the. Okay, he's okay.
Yeah, still because of the terrain close to no shots being taken there. MCG was trying to set up somewhat of a trap as a lot of the teams, because of this hard shift into north, trying to find some open space with the vehicles and just finding okay spots. Sun Sisters, they were all the way up from Campo Militar. They had a pretty wide spread, big space for themselves, so they are going to be fine right in the middle.
Yeah, now Entis is cutting across the Sun Sister territory, trying to see if they can get by. It looks like they're just going to be able to do it. Good vehicle pathing from Entis as usual. They really know how to drive their vehicles through places that hide and obscure their movements.
It has to be at least one or even two members. And look where Under is. He's actually reaching out towards the high side of the mountains. I think they actually want to keep that 2-2 split. Oh, you gotta. Gotta be careful.
Well, as long as the back tire lands first, you're usually a little bit more okay. Longsker is going to find a crate here. What is inside for one of the best fraggers in the world, and in China especially? This guy is always up there in the kill feed, and you can only hold him back for so long, I feel like, before infantry starts to pop off. A 2-2 split for them coming up.
Yeah, infantry can't let them down as they are near Entis towards the northern side. I think they want to keep that mountain top up and look for a few snipes, as they do still have 2-2 split, as you mentioned, Paper Thin. But this team on your screen, as they are going with the two teams that are still outside of the circle are Gen.G and Detonation Gaming. Just those two teams.
All right.
In Onyx.
What is Onyx doing out here? He got stopped up by the power grid. Is he going to get one? He's going to get Machao. Detonation Gaming loses their top player to a nice cheeky pick. A hold up from Onyx is going to find that. That is
somewhat unlucky too.
Yeah,
Why
a little
is
bit.
Onyx there?
No, there's no way I would ever expect anybody to be there in a million years.
And also Loki's set up on the southern part of San Martin, just trying to catch one of these kill points, making sure they cut one off so they know there is no one right on their back. I think they learned their lesson from Griffin in their match just before, and just trying to make sure there's no one behind their back. And we have the next circle, guys. It's all the way in the east.
Another hard shift. This is the round of hard shifts, it looks like. We went northwest, now we're going over to the east. So the Sun Sisters, they love it, and Entis going to be right in the middle. They find that God House compound, and there you go. You got the center circle, you're above the Sun Sisters there, and you have, if the circle keeps shifting south, it gets a little weird because you got to try to get into the fields. Oh, it's weird for everybody if it comes down to those fields, but for now, it's going to be A-okay. And New Happy, as nice as their center circle position was, now they're trying to reach out and find if they can get anything a little bit closer to the center.
Yeah, Ming was trying to refuel that gas, and with trusting his teammates on the back from the hill, as he found some members of Para right in that gas station, said, okay, I can't really go in right now. As they're still in circle, they don't have to push too far right now. I think they can look for those some more points as they have the high ground control from the west.
Well, actually, what's interesting for New Happy is once this circle finishes closing in, there's not going to be a lot on the edges of that hillside that are going to see them, so they can go up to the hillside and put shots down on the teams that are down in that valley if they so choose. I don't know if they will or not. They might just try to hold the compound because there might be a couple teams that try to push in, and that's going to be priority number one, I feel like. But we'll see how it plays out going forward. Tianba now is looking at Gen.G's late rotation. Gen.G wrapping all the way around to the south side of Hacienda del Patron, and that's going to be a knock here on the Loki from Lurena. The good shooting continues for Tianba.
Tianba actually made the later rotation into the eastern side, and Circle, luckily for them, shifted east, so they can actually have pretty good amount of space as they will look to come in and pressure into Gen.G a little bit further. We do see GEX getting a kill onto Griffin, I think. But the main story I think we want to follow a little bit more is on Gen.G at the same time.
Yeah, Lin Shun, look at this. Lin Shun has actually pushed down towards Gen G. I don't know if we're going to cut to that. GEX is still kind of do-si-doing with Griffin here, as Griffin's Asura does get a little bit ahead on the northern side of GEX, but the other two members, Min Sung and Juanita, are trailing, and I think Gen G is getting torn apart. They might actually just be getting bopped out of this round, getting bopped out of Miramar for the day. Pio and Anonix are alive. It looks like they're going for the res onto Loki. There's that Groza there for Pio, and now they're getting a little help from MCG, getting Lin Shun backed off, but in the next circle, it's most likely going to leave them, and it's going to be tough.
Yeah, MCG, yeah, getting those shots all the way from Patron. That's a pretty long shot, actually. Like Genji getting somewhat of a help. And they actually focus fire, getting a knock there.
Oh my god, Detonation Gaming White. Oh, they're going to find the knock onto Anonix from C's. C's finds the back of the house, and Anonix isn't ready for it. He's going to go down. Now, there is the Groza here for Pio, and that is not a gun you want to see in the hands of this player if you are Detonation Gaming White. C's now checking the corners, watching to see if any member of Gen G accidentally comes out here, kind of overextends himself. Sometimes you'll see players just bolt around a corner because they think it's safe, but for now, you're not going to see that from Gen G.
Yeah, it has to be on to the side as you are still looking towards those potential shot from MCG. That's going to be the dangerous spot when they focus fire, as this heal would come in, maybe going into the top.
Good grenades from Gen G. One on the bottom, one on the top to see if they can catch C's.
Loki heard him.
Yeah, they go. He gets Pio, but it's going to be Loki who steps up, puts him in the ground. And Detonation Gaming White, after a really solid start to the day, go out in 15th place.
That was dangerous. If MGG takes him down, that's the end for Gen G. And Lin Shun, he's not going too far away and says, okay, your tires are popped, you're trapped here, you can't go anywhere else, Gen G. You guys are going down right here. And we're taking the kill points.
Does he have a vehicle up here? I'm actually
He ran here.
He ran here. That's weird, but it's going to work. Actually, because of the control that M200 has over on the eastern side outside of the circle, that's actually going to be safe. Now, Loki's looking for something to use. Griffin finds infantry out of the frying pan into the fire, and down they go. 9 is going to get a twofer.
And because they just had a fight, but without the knock GEX, I think they wanted to pressure a little bit more from that northern side. As if they do hear them, they're about to run away.
I think this is going to be a pretty big gut check moment for infantry. It is bullying out on his own here. Leo's pushing hard. GEX knows they have to take a fight because they are outside of the circle, and it's going to push them in very quickly. And it's phase 4, the blue tickles. No, up and over.
Oh,
Leo.
Pretty good reaction. That was great play by the teammates using those vehicles to delete your foot sound.
Yeah, really nice job there, and Leo just barely able to outdo bullying. No easy task, no doubt. Pio is very, very hurt. He's going to go, nope, never mind. That's going to be M200 who's going to put him on the ground once again, and another knock into Pio, and I don't think Loki has any hope in the world of getting to this one. So Gen G might just go out of it, although with Loki, you never know. He's a very good snake, one of the best in the world at doing that. We see it all the time. Mamu now trying to hold on his own against New Happy. New Happy storming in. Long DD out. Mamu finds a corner, finds one, finds 2!
Oh, that might actually be 2 points for him.
He's trying to get it. He isn't able to control it enough to finish it. It's actually going to be Godby.
Godby?
4AM finishes that one. The poor guy, Mamu, does all the hard work, and it's going to be 4AM who makes him pay for it.
So New Happy actually, they are going to be getting those res, and Loki in that blue will go down. Tiemba not really being able to pressure them out of the circle too much as they still have to go rotated.
Yeah, it's definitely not the Miramar, the start to the day that you wanted to see for Gen G if you're a fan of them. Yanli doing a good job. Longsker going to be knocked. This is really interesting stuff. Infantry spit off a little bit more than they could chew, and now GEX is really making them pay for it. 9 here trying to see if he can get Yan Li, see if he can avenge his fallen teammates, as now it's just him, the sole survivor. Throwables exploding around him, but he's dodging those pretty well. Yan Li going for another one. That one's going to come up short as 9 continues to dance around, seeing if he can catch anyone.
As long as 9 takes care of Yan Li from the side, and Antus actually helps him out in big time. So 9 might actually be safe. OPG will also look to pressure into Ifty if he gets a chance.
Look at Entus. They're coming up from their spot. They're reaching out for these kills. They're not going to get there just in time, but they do find a knock on a Hansia on the other side. So at the end of the day, I like what we're seeing from Entus. Now, if they can get back to their position, if they didn't overextend, then this is fantastic. Indigo does finish the point onto Hansia there. So Mao Ye He's going for the heals, but this is, again, a blue that hurts a lot. He's just trying to see if he can get a cheeky point before he goes down. And at this point,
no heals.
he's surrendering, trying to see if he can shoot his own grenade out of the air. You can shoot the grenades in the air. If you hit him with a bullet, they do land. But he isn't able to do it, and that is going to be GEX doing a great job against infantry in the fight, but the blue is too much to handle. VLG now makes a rotation, a dangerous one into the center of the circle. Godby finds the knocks. Poly steals the point.
Yeah, that was a pretty good, risky but pretty good decision-making by VLG. If they had the full squad going into that small dip right there, I think they could have been okay for the next few upcoming circle. They were going to be challenged by MCG, but not in the next few minutes. So, yeah, big rotation, well made, just loses a member. I don't think that's too bad, just losing Spear there.
Yeah, and now we are pretty well centered on top of this field that we kind of bemoaned earlier that we didn't want to see, but here it is. That's the situation we found ourselves. Sun Sisters can continue to hold down their compound. Tianba is forced into the fields trying to use the hay bales and the other shacks that are in there, and that's going to send MCG on their backside because there isn't anything else that MCG sees in front of them that's available.
MCG right now is trying to get another knock. They know exactly where Tianba is, so they're trying to push to the next line and even go into VLG. So they have to make a decision soon enough. I think they will just choose to rotate towards the eastern side. Against 4 AM, there's no way. And VLG's already had that big dip set up.
All right, it looks like New Happy's making a move now. You can see Lycanon on the top of your screen diving towards the center of this. There isn't many other options for NH because their compound has left the circle. They have to try to find something inside of the field and see if they can make it work with some vehicles, some smokes, and the like. Now, Godby does get down behind the haystack himself. MCG keeping players up on top of this hill as long as they can, sending Lingdu out to try to hold the flank against Tianba, keep them off their backs a little bit. VLG is kind of pinned down on this side of this hill. There's no way they're really much of a threat, most likely for MCG, unless some weird stuff happens.
Yeah, we're not going to see any kind of big rotations coming out too much, except for the teams coming down from somewhat of a high hill from that northern side, as this is a wide open area, basically an open field for a lot of these teams.
Woo! Kendes, I don't know what was going on there, but that was a good shot. Woo! I don't care who it was. I thought it might have been Godby there for a second, but no, it's Kendes understeals it for all the hard work that he did with that really nice sniping. And it is more center, more fields on top of this, and VLG, you can see everybody is pushing their fire into them. 4 AM still has a little bit of their compound in. OPGG, they're stuck in that shack, but it is no longer in this next circle.
They have to wait for Sun Sisters to actually get those kills coming from Entus. Oh, Entus is not going to let them do anything else. Just keep them in the small trap. Might actually go for the push if Ender has some more time, and a lot of he does not have another. I think that was the last smoke that he had.
I mean, Under's setting up to just do everything he can to keep OPGG pinned, do as much damage to them as possible, and probably pick up a point or two along the way. Now MCG has no choice but to try to go into the field. Tianba is making their rotation ahead of it, so it's going to be first up Tianba. They're going to be able to set up, and MCG as well gets in without taking a whole bunch of damage right away, and Tianba is getting ripped apart.
Yeah, but because you have so many teams from so many different angles, even if you go in, unless you have 2 vehicles blocking the entire side, you're not going to be safe. You're going to be knocked so many times. Even if you're in the smoke, a lot of these teams will just spray down bullets, making sure you are not safe in there. Once they get the knock, they will push you in immediately.
Dude, right now, watching the map is like looking at a plaid-colored shirt. Like, all of the lines are just crisscrossing all over the place. It is absolute chaos right now as everybody is struggling to find safe entry. OPGG can't get it done with that initial push. There's still Dumbo on the back as kind of a safety valve. He's going to make a go for it, but I don't know what else he can do. 4 AM is going to take him, and it's going to be Lycanon, in fact, with some help from 4 AM. Yeah, that's OPGG out 9.
Yeah, too bad for OPGG, but they had to make that drop. Now, Entus big entry into Sun Sisters. And Crazy Sam does have the nade to go down with it, so getting that damage. Sungjiang finishing the kill.
Yeah, that was a little unfortunate there for Crazy Sam. A fantastic player, but a bit of a misstep there. It's going to have his own grenade in his face, blow him up. Now Kendes, Faye, and Polly trying to regroup, see if they can hold down this push from one of the best in the business. Kale is getting the res onto Indigo. Indigo going right for that heal. Under is up in front. Unter's your frontline fragger for Entis. He is so good at it. One of the best in the business. He does spot Kendes. Grenade is going to be in. Doesn't connect on any members of Sun Sister. Meanwhile, Euphoria making their entrance on the west side. Good grenade!
What a nade! Takes the entire team of New Happy down in a single nade. Got V.
Wow, these grenades we've been seeing so far this tournament, G-Clef, absolutely crazy good. Now they're using the exposed roof. This is so smart from Entis. There's stuns, there's mollies, there's everything pouring it on top of Sun Sister.
Please.
But so far, Sun Sister's weathering this really well. They haven't taken a lot of damage. They've got Polly on the anchor covering this entrance.
Yeah, that's small. I guess storage, there are some space you can actually go on top of those small boxes so you can actually keep up without taking too much damage from the molly. Yeah, and at the same time, Entis actually going for stealing those kills away from Afrika.
Yeah, Entis is just shooting at everything. I mean, they are feeling so much confidence. All right, this might be the push now. Under, the stun is in and up around the corner, but he isn't able to get two. It's going to be Kendes standing up. He's trying to get in there. Indigo comes around the corner. We're going to do this. Polly tries to push in, but isn't able to get there in time to save his teammates. He's going for the frag. All of Entis is stuck inside of here. Polly could bounce one off the corner. He just falls short. Isn't going to be able to get anything. And Entis, somehow, some way, is going to be able to get 4 up, it looks like.
Only with the knocks, Polly had to just fall back and run away from that many nades just falling in, as Entis still with the entire squad. That's amazing. That's an amazing slow push, making sure the Afrika was away from that eastern side. They did bring them down with Tiamba and also help with the MCG. So Entis, they're still alive with the full squad. Depending on how quickly they can push onto Polly, they might be able to come into the next circle. Godby.
Oh my God.
Godby.
Oh my God. Godby is taking over right now. We saw it in game number 2 with For Forever. Now it's going to be Godby stepping up for 4AM. MCG torn apart between their own grenades and Tianba. They go down in 6th place. How is Tianba still in this round? I thought they might have gone down a long time ago, but they're able to set up enough underneath the awning in the field, but they have to move forward, and they're going to set it down. Under actually gets off that vehicle a little too early. Sungjung goes down from Godby. Godby is firing on all cylinders. He is tearing through this lobby.
Yeah, Entis, right after getting Polly down, Indigo did go down in that trade. So immediately after looking into kill feed, okay, this has to be the moment they will be healing up after that many shots being fired. Immediate rotational choice. I like the timing, but of course in this open field, they cannot just move out.
5 kills for Godby already, and that's gonna finish it. Hikari goes down. The 4 angry men get their first win here at PCS3 Asia. We were